footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. That's Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and I'm Tyler Merkovich, bringing you an NFC Divisional playoff. That Dallas Cowboys finally get over the hump by winning a playoff game, the first time in a bunch of years, against the Minnesota Vikings. Dallas has winners of 4 straight. The Vikings have lost 3 of their last 5 to end the season. Of course, they had that bye. Let's talk about the Cowboys. Wade Phillips got that monkey off his back. Interior offensive line here. First of all, Flozell Adams is going to go against Jared Allen, but talk about on the interior where Kevin Williams and Pat Williams will have to be dealt with.
That is the big matchup. If you're a vegetarian, you might not want to watch this game. That's a lot of beef up the middle. From guard to guard, I'm going to start with the left guard. You look at Kyle Kozier, then you look at Garrard in the middle, then you look at Leonard Davis. Those 3 guys are going to have to maintain the Williams boys up the middle. That's interior offensive line play. That's a good matchup to watch. I love interior offensive line play. So that is key to the running game for Dallas. That's key to protecting Romo. That's key to everything Dallas wants to do offensively. Can they control those Williams guys up the middle? That's going to be a huge matchup to watch. That is the key to the game.
And the Vikings secondary finally showed its colors late in the season. They were getting burnt in the passing game. Antoine Winfield, everyone talks about him. He's a great tackler, but some deficiencies in the coverage. He got beat a couple times, including the game winner against Chicago on that Monday night game. He's going to have a tough task against Miles Austin, who is a special player. Now talk about what the rest of that secondary is going to have to do, because Romo's getting everybody involved. He's getting Witten, he's getting Creighton, and Roy Williams even showing up, not dropping balls, being a pretty big factor, not fumbling, and he could be productive. So talk about what Minnesota's secondary is going to have to do to slow them down.
Well, I think the cornerbacks in Minnesota are fine. I think they have a good matchup. It's going to be a good physical matchup. Those are big receivers for the Cowboys, but I do like Minnesota's corners. The question I have is the safeties. Will they be able to match up against Witten and company? That is the matchup to exploit it from Dallas. They have to go after those safeties. Witten down the seam. Witten has an innate ability to get open and find the cracks in the defense, and I like Witten's game, and that is where you attack the Vikings secondary deep down the middle. I like Cedric Griffin on the corner. I like Winfield on the corner. They both can help out in run support, and they're both active in the passing game to break up passes. But can those safeties get back there and make plays? That is a huge issue for the Vikings that they have to address, and they better hope Witten doesn't get down the seam, because he's going to catch the ball every time, and Romo will find him every time.
And we've been addressing the situation all year. Give the ball to Felix Jones, and they do, and he makes big plays. Barbers are short yardage back, and they use Tashard Choice out of the shotgun formation, so they're using all those 3 backs aggressively with that big offensive line. Mark Colombo is back, so Doug Free, who's been playing a lot, now he's a reserve, but he could come in when people are tired. So it's a deep, big physical line. Talk about the 3-headed monster the Cowboys have.
Well, defensively, the Vikings linebackers would love to just load up and make their assignment simple and just shut down the run. So you really have to get these guys involved in a running game, the passing game, so that way you can stretch out that defense and make Greenway cover. Make all those talented those athletic linebackers, make those guys get out in coverage. That way you'll be able to shorten the game and run the ball up the middle, and run, not really shorten the game, but you can have yourself more opportunities to get big runs, because those guys have just ran chasing these talented tailbacks, especially Felix Jones, a fast guy. But you really want to get the running backs involved in the passing game. Give Romo more options to be successful. Don't limit his options to 3 standard 2 receivers in the tight end. Let those running backs get out in the flats, in the flanks, in the hook routes. Let these guys be active in the passing game as well too.
And let's go over to the Vikings now. And Brett Favre came back for one reason, and one reason only. He says that's not to beat the Green Bay Packers. It's to win a Super Bowl. He's claimed a bunch of times that this is the best team he's ever been on. So let's talk about the X factor here. It's going to be the left side of the line. It's going to be unbelievable. Hutchinson and McKinney against DeMarcus Ware. So those 2 beasts are going to be watching Ware aggressively. But what's your X factor for the Vikings?
X factor is Percy Harvin. You look at the Vikings, they have Sidney Rice, talented receiver, over 1,300 yards receiving this year. Big play target, 6'4", 205, can really get down the field and make plays. Harvin is the X factor, because they want to isolate him on Orlando Scandrick. Get him one-on-one matchups, get him off the line of scrimmage, get him in the backfield, isolate Percy Harvin to make big plays. That is an X factor, because you do have Bernard Berrian on the other side as well too, and they do have 2 active cornerbacks as well as Dallas does. You look at Mike Jenkins, you also look at Terrence Newman, but Skandrick is going to be the X factor. He might be isolated on Percy Harvin, and that's the matchup you want to exploit if you're the Vikings. That is the X factor for the Vikings offense.
Wow, Rice and Harvin for the Vikings against corners like Jenkins and Newman, pretty good. What about Visante Shanko against Gerald Sensible, who's aggressive? He's been playing pretty good lately, and you know Favre loves to go to him, so look out for that. Let's talk about the run game. Adrian Peterson, it's really been falling off this half of the season, and they have to watch out for one of Dallas's big D tackles. That's Jay Ratliff, who at times can really turn it on. He could be one of the best players in the NFL.
I look at the Vikings. Vikings naturally run weak side, and running weak side is to their strength because you have McKinney, big guy, 6'8", 330 pounds. You also have Steve Hutchinson, the big guard, one of the best, if not the best guard in the game. So they're going to run weak side, and that's going to limit the young man out there, DeMarcus Ware, effectiveness because they're going to run right at him. They're going to make him be a run defender instead of a pass rusher. So you can make DeMarcus Ware take away use his strength as his weakness, then the Vikings going to have some success. Weak side running has to be a key. They have to continue to pound that weak side with that running game. Then that's going to allow you other opportunities in the offensive side of the football to run strong side, play action strong side, bootleg to the strong side. So a lot of stuff comes off the weak side running, but they really have to develop the run with Adrian Peterson. He can't fumble the football.
Is this offensive line the same which it was in the beginning of the season and last year is a question because it was fading down the stretch. Let's see if they can get to that prominent run-oriented offensive line. And let's talk about defensive pressure. They really need to get to Romo because every team is just not getting to him. He has all the time in the world. If you let Miles Austin run around, he's going to eventually get open because they have a great rapport.
Well, you look at defensive pressure, and it's the thing between pressure and push. The thing is, the Vikings have to get push instead of pressure. Romo is athletic, as is Rodgers, as is McNabb, as is all those athletic quarterbacks, Vince Young. They have to get pushed. Don't allow yourself to rush past Romo because he's going to step up, make plays in the pocket, make plays with his legs. So you want to collapse the pocket and keep him bottled up and force him to throw from the pocket. That way he can't really hurt you. So you want to get pushed, collapse the pocket, and not pressure because if you fly up the field, you just created a gap for Romo to step up and find Witten down the middle or find Creighton on the crossing route or even the young man, the Ogletree that comes in certain situations and make plays. So you really want to get pushed, collapse the pocket, keep Romo bottled up, and they should have some success. I like the Vikings in this game because of the X factor with Percy Harvin, and they spread the ball around too with Minnesota. And I like the fact that Minnesota had a week to get prepared, 2 weeks to get prepared. They also have the run game and the defensive line to compete with all that beef in the middle. I like the Vikings in a close one.
This is going to be a great game, and it's going to come down to Jared Allen against Flozell Adams. Can Adams hold him up? If Allen gets free, it could be a long day for Romo. Romo admired Favre growing up. We know the story. I'm going to go with the Vikings. Very close. I think all these matchups will be a very close game. I'm going to go with the Vikings. Slight edge.
Yeah, if this was in Cowboys Stadium, then it'll be a totally different story. But playing in Minnesota is a tough place to play. It's not a big stadium, but it's a compact stadium. You look at about 50,000, but the roof is flat, so the sound, it really gets loud in there. The Cowboys have to manage that, so it's going to mess up audibles and everything. But I do like the Vikings. It'll be a good one.
Big game for Favre and Romo, but there'll be stars all around the field.
Yes, sir.
For more, visit footballgameplan.com/NFL.